Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for The Novice, the book by Trudy Canavan. Apparently there's a bunch of books called The Novice, but this is the one by Trudy Canavan. So, as always, I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the furry. To start off the furry, much like I said in the review for the first book, there's some name changes for things aren't called rats, they're called something else. Ferrets are called something else. There's a couple of name changes for animals and whatnot because it's, as far as I can tell, not set in today's, in our world, past, present, or future. So there's a little bit of that, but not in a way that's any way confusing. There's a glossary at the end of it if you really need to, but I thought that it was very clear every time they used some type of slang word or different word for things. It was very clear what their intention was. So I didn't feel the need for the glossary, but there is still one if you need it. But in terms of furry things, there isn't any. Moving on to the good and the bad. So this is the sequel to the Magician's Guild. Skip the Magician's Guild because it's not necessary and contains nothing that isn't summarized in the first few paragraphs here. I listened to this on Audible. The narrator does a good job. I ended up turning him up to 1.2 times original speaking speed because he's a little bit slow in my opinion, but overall I like it's very clear whenever who is speaking. So he does a good job of differentiating those voices, and he does a good job of giving them feelings behind them. And in general, I like this book much better than the first one, but oh man, this book pissed me off so much. Because, I don't know if you remember, I think it was Harry Potter, it's either 5 or 6, but the Harry Potter book and movie with Dolores Umbridge, and how just eye-gratingly infuriating everything that happened with her in it. That is the feeling that I get with this novel, because almost everything that happens in it, it's just like, bro, they're doing this thing to you. That is not an okay thing to happen ever. You can tell a teacher about it, and then the teacher should, punish them severely, maybe throw them in prison, depending. There are times where it's just there's this one instance where they're doing a thing, and she's able to prevent them from doing the thing, but if she hadn't prevented them from doing the thing, they literally would have killed her. And the punishment is oh, well, this guy can't go to extra credit classes for a year or so. Really? That's your punishment for something that was clearly designed to kill? What the fuck, bro? So there is so much of that. In the first half, it's just instances where, if she had just fucking said something, this shit would have stopped. Because any one of the teachers should have done something about it. And on top of that, and then when you find out that some of the teachers knew and were just not doing fucking shit, just what? Where is this? What the fuck is this? No, that's not how that would go. People would not let that happen. And then on the second half of the book, it's so you're straight up just allowing this, and you could be doing something to stop this at any point that you want to, but you just don't. And especially because of how they explain magic in this universe, and how magic is generated, and how spells and this, that, and the other thing are done, and the amount of power that she is shown to have, the excuses for her not solving her own fucking problems way sooner are just very, very flimsy in my opinion. And then they come up with a bullshit reason to not solve them again later, and it's just, it's infuriating. But I still do like the characters. I liked the personality behind the characters, and the main ones are interesting. It does a good job. Less good once you've read the whole trilogy and then you're rereading it. That loses some of the tension behind things. I don't think this is one of the ones that's better on a reread, but yeah, I guess it's okay to reread it with extra knowledge of things. But yeah, just it's very infuriating. But I did like how magic is implemented, and that's really why I liked this series. I think the first time around is because how they explain how magic works and how spells work and how attacks versus defense and all of that jazz. How they have that implemented is, I think, one of the most interesting and one of the best ways that I've seen in a fantasy novel. So I like that. So give this one a read, because I do think that it's worth reading this one prior to going into the last one of the trilogy, although, much like most good trilogies, it does explain, it does summarize the bits in the first and second one that are relevant to the third one. But it's just the coolness of some of the things that happen in this, I think, are worth dealing with the infuriating parts. But yeah, so that's all I have for this one. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you at the next one. Bye.